Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today is hopefully going to be a watch me work. I've got a couple things I'm going to try to film today. We'll just have to see how it goes. The first place I'm going is a commercial customer. They have a kitchen with multiple receptacles that all went out at the same time. They said they were using an appliance and certain things just kept going out. GFCI started tripping. Couldn't get the power to come back, and they said they've tried changing out the GFCIs. Couldn't get any kind of power going to any of those receptacles still. So now I'm going to that job. I'm going to have to figure out maybe what was the issue before they started working on it. And then whenever I get there, they've already got receptacles pulled out. They've been trying to fix it. So I got to figure out what they did versus what was the problem in the first place. Again, I don't know what I'm getting into with that. I've got that new Klein ET450, the advanced circuit tracer. So I'm hoping to get to put that to use for the first time today and kind of see how that works. Maybe you'll get to see that as well. So that's the first job that we're going to look at. Then I'm also going to stop by that recruiting office that I've talked about working at. I'm just hoping I can film a little bit in there and just show you guys what I've done with that. I got to put some doorknobs on. That's all I've got to do there today. But hopefully I'll get to at least like film an overview, and maybe I can throw some pictures in and give you an idea of what I did there. Again, it's just a small phase one little area of that. And then I've got another customer that possibly I might be going to today, but I don't know that for sure. But we'll find out. But let's go ahead and get to that job with the receptacles. We'll drive over there and see what we can get into. Start out getting the tools that I think I'm going to need. My Atlas vest, putting that on. It's got most of my bread and butters in it. Then I got that Klein tracer down there, you can see. Grabbing a pair of diagonals in case I need to cut something. Get my GFCI tester. And then also going to get out my multimeter. Now that I'm in here, you can see that all the receptacles are out already. Again, they started working on this and couldn't figure it out. I did find some power right there, or at least with my non-contact voltage tester, it showed voltage. So then I get out my meter, start testing some things, and it's very hard for the footage on this one because if I wear my head cam, you're going to see a lot of cabinets like you are right here, and then later on I swap over to the chest cam, and you're going to notice that whenever I bend over, the camera moves. So there's really not a good way to film under these cabinets like this, but I'm finding power, but then I'm not finding it in a lot of places. So I'm narrowing it down anyways, or at least trying to. Just double checking, seeing if I'm getting anything that says like open ground or reversed or something on that tester. Pressed in that button, and now I've got some power. Over here, checking these. Pressing that button there. Add power, add power, add power, and add power. So right there, I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. It's a matter of just coming and pressing in some buttons on some GFCIs, but they did change these out, so maybe something was not right on the originals. I don't know, and you're gonna see I find some other stuff here in a minute. So I'm checking, I've got, voltage and everything now on these. I've got nothing, but if I reset it, got voltage. I know you guys can't see this much, but you can see correct voltage 122. So the problem was ultimately some GFCIs that just needed the button pushed. As far as where I'm at right now, again, I don't know. They may have actually solved a problem that they had themselves with the work that they did. So now I'm getting out this ET450 because I'm wanting to turn the breakers off to these so that I can actually work on them and get them back into the box. I want to make sure and check all the connections. So I plugged up the transmitter, and of course that works on powered circuits, dead circuits. I'm kind of using it like a circuit breaker finder right now. And this is the very first time I've used it, so I'm kind of just getting a feel for it. I'll also turn on the light on it here in the next couple times so you'll be able to see it better, but it gives you a percentage. So this is much better than even the regular circuit breaker finder, because there's a lot of these where I'm getting beeps, but I'm not getting 99 like what I'm getting here in a moment. You might not be able to see it on this one, but you'll see it on some of the coming up in a little bit. See, 99's right there, and this thing was dead on every time. Going back, you can see now I don't have power showing up on that transmitter, so that circuit is dead. Now I'm just going to go around the room and basically do the same thing on the rest of them. I think I turned the light on this one. Because I realized that there was a light button. Again, this is the very first time I've ever used this. But you can see those numbers. Boom, 99. I'm writing breaker numbers on the back of the plates. And I don't know which way these are fed right now, so I'm just making sure I kill all of them. This is the last one, so again, just showing you how this works again. This one was a tandem breaker, so I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to be able to narrow it down to which one, but I got it right the first time. And I think that was the last one that I needed to kill as far as the power. Going around double checking it all with my non-contact voltage tester. This one, whenever I was checking it, that wire pulled right out of the back. Like as soon as I touched that wire, it pulled out. So that could have been an issue at some point with this as well, as far as for one of them at least not working, or one of the branches. So seeing that made me want to go ahead and make sure that I wanted to double check all the connections as I put these back in. So again, I've got them all dead right now. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna go out to my truck, get my torque screwdriver, and then I'm opening up one of these GFCIs that they have. I was pretty sure it was like 16 inch-pounds, but I wanted to double check, and I was looking here, and it says I think 14 to 18 if I remember right. I think I might zoom in on it here in a minute. Yeah, so I think it says 14 to 18. So I think I ended up putting it on 17 or something like that. So I'm setting the torque screwdriver, and as I go around and tighten these, of course that one was completely loose with no wire in it, but as I tighten these, some of these are pretty loose, because I mean I make several turns on some of them, So again, those loose connections along with the high draw appliance, that whatever it was that they were using could have been an issue. And then again, they changed out the GFCIs and I had power to them. They just didn't reset the buttons when they put the new ones in. But what caused the original tripping of all these is probably a bad appliance, would be my guess. So now I'm just going around, torquing them all, reinstalling them, putting the face plates on over and over again until I get them all put in. Because I'm already here, it didn't take me very long to find the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and get this button back up for them. And I don't have my pouch or anything on me. I'm just running a few tools in my vest. So here I swapped over to my phone recording so that maybe you'd be able to see a little bit better, not see the cabinet so much. Just more of the same. Now I'm turning the power back on. And then I'm going to take my GFCI tester and test each one. What I'm also going to check is I'm going to test the GFCI feature as far as, because some of these are receptacles that are coming off the load side of GFCIs, and again I didn't wire these, so, and they did swap the GFCIs out, so I'm making sure they wired those correctly and making sure all these receptacles are GFCI protected like they're supposed to be, which actually I don't really see where some of these necessarily would have to be, but that's what they were intended to be as far as whoever wired them. So every one of them I'm getting that 122 volts, and also it is tripping the GFCI in all the receptacles, even whenever I go to one that's not a GFCI, and I'm able to reset it and still have power. So I go through again, I just check every single one of them. That's another reason why I really love this GFCI tester right here, because I can plug it in, pull it out, read it. It doesn't have to stay in there. So in a situation like this, you don't have to be crouched inside there to read those numbers. So everything's checking out good. I even checked the ones that I didn't work on just to make sure it's still okay. Now I'm just going to start putting up my tools, getting everything cleaned up. I'm really glad I bought that Klein tracer. I think it's going to be nice. I'm just getting everything again put back in my truck where it goes. Making sure I take the torque off my torque screwdriver. So that job was nothing like what was going to be in my mind as far as what I expected. I fully expected to find like a loose neutral or something like that. But whenever I went in there and started testing with my non-contact voltage tester, I found power. And then it was as simple as pressing them GFCI buttons. But again, they had changed out some stuff. The old GFCIs might have been bad, and they just didn't push those buttons when they put the new ones in. I did find one that had a loose wire that just pulled right out of the back of it. So again, I went through all those. You know, I was already there. So I went ahead and installed them as they had them, torqued down everything, made sure everything was secured correctly, and then I went around and tested all the GFCIs along with the plugs that were coming off the GFCIs to make sure that those were all still working correctly and that they were wired correctly, because again, I didn't wire any of those, somebody else did, so I needed to test to make sure all the other receptacles were coming off of it, make sure they had that line load correct on those. So overall, again, easy job, minimum time on that, but let's go ahead and head over to the recruitment center and we'll get those doorknobs on, and again, maybe I'll be able to show you a little bit of that job, what I was able to do. So my door place said that they just sold all their wall stops the other day. Of course, Lowe's doesn't have any either, so somebody in town must have just finished a really big building. They were going around, you know, finishing out all the door trim and all that kind of stuff or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna go over to Home Depot, I guess, and see if they've got any. So we'll head over there. So I couldn't film a whole lot here, so I'm just filming, putting on one door. I kind of got my phone tucked away in a corner, looking up at me. These are just a Passage Hager commercial lock, very easy to install. Basically only about 4 screws. I'm using that DeWalt screwdriver, the 8-volt. I put in a centering bit so I could drill out those holes. Now I'm just installing the latch. Putting the guide pins in there. These are just Passage locks, so no keys, nothing like that. putting on the other side of the handle. Again, there wasn't a good way for me to get my camera to where you could see the other side of the door, but it's just 2 screws after you put the back plate on. I forgot what they actually called the thing that you put on there as far as the technical term, but putting on the lever, testing it out. Now I got to put on one of those wall stops. What I typically do with these, pretty good chance you're never going to hit a stud if it wasn't something that's like a new framing job. Like anytime I frame something, knowing I'm putting a door in, I always put blocking in for these, but I take the screw that comes with it, I screw it into the drywall, and then the extra screw that's actually in this door lock kit, they give you a couple little bit bigger screws. I just take that and poke it in the hole and make it a little bit bigger, and then you can use the anchor that comes with the wall stop, put that into the wall. I'm going to tap it in with my screwdriver, and then just put this on. And I always put this on manually, because if you go one turn too many with an impact or something like that, it just starts, that anchor starts spinning, and then you're in trouble. Strike plate. And then I'm just going to test out the door. So to give you an idea of what I did on this job, me and a buddy, we did the metal framing, metal frame doors, the insulation. Here's a kind of a wall that splits that area, and then we also patched all the drywall of the existing walls and hung the drywall and finished the drywall for the 2 new walls. And then we did this drop ceiling here and also the drop ceiling in the 2 rooms back there. Someone else has done the paint, the carpet, those kinds of things, the electrical. Basically, we just did the, first stuff, but just to give you an idea of what this job entails. And then here's some bonus work. I actually got the call for this on my way home. One of my normal customers picked up a couple bathroom faucets. I told her I could go ahead and swing by and put them in today, but I filmed some of it and then I lost a lot of the footage, so I'm just going to show you what I've got. And one of these faucets was an absolute bear to get out, the existing one. So I don't have a whole lot of footage, but you'll kind of get to see. I'm just taking apart this one, and then here in a minute it'll be up on the top, me pulling the drain out. And I'm going to show you what I find in the drain. And then after this is where I forgot to hit record again or something, but I did have some time lapse of changing out the second faucet, so you can see that here. This is my last thing that I ended up doing for the day.
But yeah, guys, there's a few hours of my day again. The first job with the electrical issue was nothing like what I expected, but then again, it can't all be fun puzzles. Sometimes it is just super simple, but got that straightened out. And then again, hopefully you got to see a little bit of that, job at the recruitment center, what I did. That was phase 1. I've got 2 more phases to do. Once they move into that area, we're going to start demo and, do some other stuff in some other areas. But again, that advanced circuit tracer is really nice, even just as a breaker finder. That's super nice to actually have that feedback of the percentage and all that kind of stuff. Really glad I got that. I'm looking forward to some times where I've needed something like that in the past and I didn't have it, so I'm looking forward to using that. But again, hope this video was interesting in some way. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next video.